Welcome to Lesson 5 of Module 1 on DBMS Extensions and Example Data Warehouses. I'm going to start with a definitional question about the type of data warehouse featured in this lesson. What does the word federated mean for a data warehouse? Lesson 5 provides conceptual background about data warehouses deployed in organizations to provide a context for detailed skills in other modules. You will learn about the Colorado Education Data Warehouse that supports decision-making about K-12 education in Colorado, USA. You have 3 learning objectives in this lesson. You should understand the scope of moderate-sized data warehouses. You should gain insight about development difficulties with cooperation among data providers for moderate-sized data warehouses. You should reflect about mandatory participation by data providers and wide usage by stakeholders. The Colorado Education Data Warehouse was developed in response to public concern and related legislation about accountability and student growth in K-12 education. In Colorado, a 1997 law required the development of accountability systems for K-12 education. This law was extended in 2004 and 2007 to measure student growth, not just student achievement at a point in time. The original Education Data Warehouse was developed beginning in 2002 to support education accountability. The first major extension, performed from 2007 to 2009, with a budget of approximately $6.7 million, developed web portals for public and private usage and extended the scope of the data warehouse to measure student growth. The second major extension in 2013 increased the scope with preschool and career data and supported more efficient data transfer from school districts to the data warehouse. Colorado School View is a public/private portal that uses the Education Data Warehouse. SchoolView supports visual analysis of student growth on standardized tests for all Colorado school districts. Users can compare median student growth and achievement in reading, writing, and math by school as depicted in this snapshot. Schools are classified into 4 quadrants by achievement and growth level, such as higher achievement and higher growth in the top right quadrant. In addition, users can search on the dimensions of student group, grade, and ethnicity, as well as rolling up to school districts. This snapshot displays visual results for the student group dimension. By selecting a bubble in the display, users can drill down to the individual school member value. SchoolView provides a map interface in addition to standard searching tools for selecting schools and school districts. The Colorado Education Data Warehouse uses a federated architecture with mandatory participation by data providers, mostly school districts. Colorado has 178 school districts, so the number of data sources provided by school districts is large. This diagram shows other data sources provided by higher education, public safety, corrections, early childhood development, and human services. After extraction, transformations are performed, including generation of unique identifiers. The primary measure is a standardized test score. Students take standardized tests once per year, typically in the second half of the school year. Standardized test scores are augmented with data from school districts about student grades and demographic attributes. Web portals provide reporting to stakeholders, public and private, local, state, and national. The data model for the Education Data Warehouse is a complex collection of 9 constellation schemas. The constellation schemas contain 94 dimension tables and 32 fact tables. The fact tables have some level of denormalization, as the fact tables contain both key and code values instead of just the key values. The constellation schemas have some level of snowflaking, as 10 dimension tables are referenced in other dimension tables. The schema diagram uses 9 pages in Microsoft Visio Professional, with each page containing a constellation schema with many connections among fact and dimension tables. The Education Data Warehouse is modest size compared to enterprise data warehouses of major corporations. The total size of the Education Data Warehouse is about 270 gigabytes. The fact tables have about 200 million rows, with 1.6 million rows added per year to the major fact table for standardized test results. The standardized test schema contains a fact table for standardized test scores, along with connections of 27 dimension tables. This diagram shows a simplified representation of the schema. This table lists dimension tables in the standardized test schema. Most dimension tables contain flat dimensions, typically a code value. For example, dimension tables for ethnicity, homeless, migrant status, and gifted contain a single flat dimension. Some dimension tables contain hierarchical dimensions and multiple dimensions. For example, the school dimension has location columns that form hierarchical dimensions and other columns comprising flat dimensions. Each dimension table uses 2 date columns, beginning and ending effective dates, to provide historical integrity. The fact tables in the student achievement schema contain measures with a variety of aggregation properties. The major fact table for standardized test results contains additive measures, number of points, percentage points, scaled score, and growth percentile. Although these measures should be shown as central tendencies, average or median, for reasonable interpretation. Summary fact tables contain event counts, such as the number of partially proficient students in a test result. The finance fact table contains semi-additive measures that can be summarized across time, such as bonded debt levels. Lesson 5 presented a modest-sized data warehouse to provide context for detailed concepts and skills covered in other modules. The Education Data Warehouse has evolved over more than 10 years under several legislative mandates. The development effort required coordination among many areas of state and local government in Colorado, USA. The operation of the data warehouse involved many new policies for data quality. In this lesson, you will provide an overview of the SchoolView website for reporting about student performance and growth, along with the design of the Education Data Warehouse. You are encouraged to use the public part of the SchoolView website to explore the reporting features. In answer to the opening question, a federation involves an alliance among members, surrendering some authority to a central body while maintaining some level of authority for members. A federated data warehouse involves cooperation from independent organizations, school districts in the Colorado Education Data Warehouse. Participation in the Colorado Education Data Warehouse is mandated by law in Colorado, although state funding was provided to defer costs. The benefits are intangible, especially for school districts. Without mandatory participation, federated data warehouses can be difficult to develop and maintain over time.